Welcome to today's episode of the 10 and 10 podcast. I'm your host for today, Ashley Clark, and you are in for a real treat today as we talk with Jade Nanga. She is with Jet Set Productions, and she is going to help those leaders out there with your content. So let's dive in. Jade, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you here.
I am so excited to be here. I'm pumped.
I am too. You just have such an incredible experience and background spanning through small businesses, Fortune 500 companies, global thought leaders, and really being able to help them transform content into authority. Data driven and creativity combined to go beyond visibility and help empower leaders to be seen, heard, and sought after, which is something we all want.
You'd be surprised, but not everyone. But the right people with the
Yeah.
right story, they do want that visibility, and it's my job to make sure they get it.
I love that. What inspired you to start Jet Set Productions, and what gap did you really see out there between how founders and executives were showing up online?
Yeah, so I started Jet Set Productions actually as a video marketing agency. And when COVID hit, I obviously had to pivot and figure out what different ways that I could be sharing marketing. And I remembered all the conversations I had typically off camera with CEOs and leaders and founders and how interesting they were and how much of a story they had to share. But that was never the focal point. It was always product focused, service focused. And I noticed there was just a shift in the market where people aren't just buying from companies. They're not investing in companies, they're investing in people. And so I've just seen so many smart leaders that are building world-class products, but no one outside of their inner circle know who they are or how genius they are. And so Jet Set Productions really is there to fill the gap and help founders and executives really get their vision and their experience and their story out there in a way that is compelling, and using content to do that to attract capital and speaking engagements and press and top tier talent, because it just can't, you the business marketing is not enough. You have to be marketing the person behind the brand.
Yeah, I can see it a lot in my particular industry about how who you are and the stories that you share allow people to connect with you and your reason why. And then your product almost sells themselves at that or sells itself at that moment, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. You say that content converts, but it's not just about views, it's more about positioning. What does that actually mean for a founder or executive?
Likes alone don't move the needle. And at this stage in the game where we are with there's so much content, there's so much media that we're constantly consuming, founders really need to have strategic visibility. And so for us, that really starts with clarity and working with each of our clients and figuring out who they are, how do they want to be showcased, who are they wanting to be reaching, and then we package that in a way that we can consistently get that out there across media channels. So that's podcasts, that's socials, emails, blogs, etc. But it's really just getting into the nitty-gritty of who you are and what you want to be known for, and let's get it out there.
Yeah, that's amazing. And here you are on this podcast.
Yes.
For leaders who are listening right now, how can they tell when it's time to invest in their personal brand?
If the business is growing, you should be growing your personal brand right alongside it. Of course, there's always budgeting. If you have the budget for a marketing line item, maybe you don't have a full team. You may not, maybe there's one person that you have internally. But I think if the business is growing, if people are finding out about the business, there is no time like the present to start building your personal brand, because no matter if you stay at this company, you leave this company, it goes belly up, you sell whatever it is, you take your personal brand with you. Tying yourself strictly to a company will only last while you're at that company and while there's an attachment there. But say whatever happens, what do you have that you can take with you? And so starting to build that as sooner rather than later is really ideal.
Yeah, making sure that it starts at least.
Yes.
Do you find it hard to kind of get executives or founders on board to like let's just start, let's just do a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, my big thing is it's really conversational, even when I'm extracting content, right? So I meet with my clients typically for about 30 minutes to 60 minutes once a month, and that is how I pull all of the content for the entire month. So typically, it's fun, it's conversational. We're just chatting over Zoom or we meet up, and I'm just asking questions as if
Yeah.
just how we're having a conversation here. And that typically allows them to just be at ease in a way where when I create the content pieces, they're like, wait, I don't even remember saying that, or where did you get that from? And I'm like, I just was recording our conversation and I am using every last bit, because it is hard for founders to sit down and start typing out of like, wait, what are my vision? What's my values? How do I share that and express that via LinkedIn or X? But I think the way I do it, I'm able to just pull it out of them in an easy, kind of really non-confrontational way.
Yeah, I bet that that takes some talent, some maneuvering, and making sure that they feel at ease to share those things.
Yeah.
And probably, I could guess, even discovering some of those things. Not everyone has talked about their vision before, or talked about their goals, or talked about what their personal brand would look like.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of those conversations as well?
100%. People, it takes a lot of introspection that a lot of people, especially when you're running hard and you're running a business and you're on your way to the top, it's you're not stopping to think about, wait, how do I want to be positioned later in life? What,
Yeah.
10, 15 years down the line, what do I want to be remembered for? What do I want people to think about when they hear my name? And so it really does start those questions and gets the wheels turning in terms of, who are you when no one's around? What do you want to be known for? But I think that's the best part of it, honestly.
I believe it. I believe it. Is there any misconceptions kind of with content or brand that you really wish you could set the record straight?
Yeah. Social media isn't content. It's a piece of content, but content is so much more. It's socials, it's podcasts, it's emails, blogs, newsletters, whatever it is. There's so many different types of content, and they all do have a power and a purpose.
Mm.
And likes and reposts are not the metrics so that I personally like to use for my clients, but I think the importance is, how are you being viewed, right? Are you getting speaking engagements? Are you getting book offers? Are you having talent come to you and say, you know what, I've been seeing your posts and I'd really love to see if there's any opportunities at your company open. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of my clients have been able to get funding opportunities just because founders are sharing what's going on and people are like, I want in on that. And so it spans so much more than just the likes and kind of those vanity metrics. It's deeper, and building that brand, that's kind of the metric that I like to see. And like, when people are mentioning a industry, like, is your name up there at the top?
Yes. Um, I love your passion around this, and you can just feel how excited you are and how much you care about building that brand. Is there a particular story or moment that either inspired you to do this or kind of keeps motivating you to do more?
I think it's seeing the wins that my clients are able to get from the content pieces that are going out, right?
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, this is what I do and it's fun and I enjoy it and it's marketing. But for these people, this is life-changing things that are happening, right? These are founders that have been heads down, building something great, and now positioning themselves as leaders in their industry. And so being able to see my clients get book deals and go on speaking tours and have funding opportunities, like, those are the things that are exciting for me, and it keeps me going, and it goes so much deeper than just, oh, yeah, we're doing some cute content pieces.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're out here changing people's lives, one post at a time, one email at a time, one podcast at a time, the full thing.
I love that.
Mhm.
For everyone listening and watching, do you have maybe one piece of advice that you would give to them if they're kind of looking or maybe dipping their toe in the water about it? What was
Yeah.
one piece of advice you'd give?
Even if you're not at a place where you're ready to invest in, say, a Jet Set Productions, start yourself, right? I think even one post a week, and I always like to say founders should be on LinkedIn posting. X is another really great platform as well for founders and leaders. Post. If it's once a week, if it's twice a week, even if it's inconsistent, even if you feel like it's silly, even if you're not seeing the likes or whatever it is that you might be looking for, just start. And I feel like once people see the momentum that comes from that, then they understand, one, that it's a hard job doing content. It's a hard job to be consistent.
Yes.
And it's a field of study for a reason, marketing, right? And
Yes.
so I like to say, start on your own until you can bring someone else on, but do what you can with whatever you have to start.
I wholeheartedly believe that a lot of people underestimate the amount of work it takes, not only to put out content, as you said, but have it be strategic, have it be purposeful, and have it match your brand.
Right.
Putting out marketing just for the sake of it and it being different content and everything like that, that doesn't even, it's not cohesive,
Right.
actually can negatively affect you.
100%.
Yeah.
All content pieces should drive revenue, drive opportunities. There needs to be a purpose for every piece of content you put out.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. If everybody would like to reach out to you, can you let them know where to reach out to find more information or get in contact with you?
jetsetjade.com has my website, email, events that I'm hosting in the Phoenix area. All the info's there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in today for this episode of the 10 in 10 podcast, where we prove that having meaningful conversations and connections can happen in just 10 minutes. If you are a leader or founder and you are struggling with that content or that brand imaging, be sure to reach out to Jade. Thank you so much. And be sure to check in for the next 10 in 10 podcast, where we prove that those meaningful connections can happen. Have a great day.